The Manchester United are on the verge of making one of the most dramatic decisions in European football in recent years. A shortlist of 9 potential signings has been revealed, and the club could be preparing to spend more than €300 million in the next transfer window. But here is the twist that is dividing opinion across football. This plan could either bring Manchester United back to the very top of world football or repeat the same costly mistakes that have defined their recent years. To understand why this moment is so critical, you have to look at the current reality inside the club. Manchester United is still an unstable team, and that is not an exaggeration. The squad is heavily dependent on a few key players, especially Bruno Fernandes, who often carries the entire creative burden alone. When he is not at his best, the team struggles to create chances. The defensive line continues to show inconsistency, and the midfield lacks balance and control. And whenever injuries hit the squad, the entire structure collapses almost instantly. This fragile situation is exactly what forced the board to change strategy completely. Instead of making small adjustments in the market, Manchester United has decided to go for a full-scale rebuild, a complete reset of the squad. And this rebuild starts in defense, where the problems have been most obvious. One of the main targets is Mickey van de Ven, valued between 50 and 60 million euros. He is one of the fastest centre-backs in Europe, and that single attribute could solve one of Manchester United's biggest weaknesses, the constant exposure to long balls and counterattacks behind the defensive line. With his pace, the team could finally push higher up the pitch and defend more aggressively. But there's a major concern that cannot be ignored, his injury record. And that raises a serious question. Is this a smart investment or a risky gamble? Moving into midfield, Manchester United is looking for something they have been missing for years: intensity and control. One of the key names on the list is Carlos Baleba, valued between 40 and 50 million euros. He is a high-energy midfielder, aggressive in pressing, and extremely effective in recovering possession. His arrival would completely change the dynamic of the midfield, allowing Bruno Fernandes to operate with far more freedom and focus purely on creativity and final decisions in attack. But the real game-changing name in this entire plan is Sandro Tonali, who could cost up to 70 million euros. Tonali is not just a midfielder, he is a controller of the game. He dictates tempo, organizes transitions, and brings a level of stability that Manchester United has been missing for years. If this signing happens, it would represent a massive shift in the identity of the team. Now here is where everything becomes even more shocking. Just these 3 players alone would already push the investment beyond 160 million euros. And this is only part of the full plan. With 9 players on the list, the total spending could reach between 250 and 350 million euros. This is not just a transfer window. This is a complete attempt to rebuild Manchester United from the ground up. But here comes the question that no one can avoid. Manchester United has already spent enormous amounts of money in recent years, yet the results have not matched the investment. So the real doubt is simple. Is the problem actually the players, or is it the lack of a clear and consistent project behind them? Because if the structure is wrong, even 300 million euros will not be enough. But if the planning is correct, this could be the beginning of a completely new era at Old Trafford. And that is why this moment is so critical. This is not just another transfer window. This could be the turning point of Manchester United's entire future, for better or for worse.